Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about my predictions of the very next death battle. Now, this death battle is going to be between Killua from Hunter x Hunter versus, I hope I'm saying this right, Misaka, from, she's somebody I'm not familiar with. She is from, of course I can't seem to see it at all, of course. I got nothing. She's the protagonist, main protagonist of Tora Kushiana. Oh, okay. Alrighty then. Um, anyway, she's from the fictional universe of Toriu Mazetsu no Index. And she's a human. So anyway, there's only one of these, obviously, that I'm familiar with, and that is Killua. I had to do a deep dive on trying to figure out which one is actually stronger. And let me tell you, it was not an easy thing with this. It was very difficult to try to figure out who was actually going to be the victor here. So overall, they're both electric users. So let's talk about Killua in general and in the Hunter x Hunter universe. In the Hunter x Hunter universe, their abilities are based on what's called Nen. Nen is ability that is kind of spiritual in a way, but also their power in general from their spirit itself. There are many different types of Nen abilities: enhanced, conjuring, um, enhanced conjuring. I'm drawing a blank on the rest of them. Special, projection. I want to say projection, but anyway, Killua is a conjuring ability. His Nen is being able to use that way. He, on the other hand, is a young assassin who has the ability to do things that many kids his age have not ever been able to do. He was trained at a very young age how to be an assassin. He was part of the Zolak family, who was a great power of mercenaries, basically. He was able to take out people with ease without any issue whatsoever. He's been able to take out powerful foes and was able to be a powerhouse even before being um, understanding even the ability of Nen. Overall, superhuman strength, speed, agility, an assassin in his own right, being able to rip somebody's heart out while it was still beating is one of the biggest things of all time. And that was before having the power boost of being a Nen user later on, which later his Nen ability allowed him to be physically stronger, faster, allowed him to conjure electricity, and be able to manipulate electricity to the point of incredible feats. Able to use his yo-yos to manipulate the electricity around him and cause significant damage to the people around him. Also having the ability to have a high pain tolerance due to the torture that his family put him in at a very young age. He has immense strength. He's able to able to move 64 tons with ease and able to lift up boulders several times his size with ease as well. He has enhanced speed and reflexes. He's been able to have speed on par with Gon when Killua is not using Nen, and has been shown great reflexes reacting to the slightest amount of danger swiftly. With his speed and agility, he can create multiple after images of himself and disappear out of sight. He's a master of stealth. He's an expert tracker, enhanced agility. He has enhanced stamina, poison resistance, high pain resistance. We already talked about electric resistance because as a child, he had to endure large amounts of electricity. His older brother electrocuted him for training and for punishment. And once he started to use his Nen abilities, he decided that electricity would be the best suited for that. He also has high intelligence. His Nen ability, he's a transmuter. Sorry. He's a transmuter. He is most effective in changing the form of his Nen. He has the ability to transform his aura into electricity. This feat was both inspired and made possible by the years of electrical shocks they received as a child, both as training against torture and as a punishment by his older brother. In order for him to use his ability, he has to absorb massive amounts of electricity. Granted, he normally does it through a socket. He has the ability called Godspeed, which causes him to have super speed. Killua is estimated to be able to move at 150 miles per hour. He has instant reaction time. When in this form, he's able to react to all attacks automatically, so hitting him is extremely difficult, if not near impossible. Electric shock. Killua's shock-resistant body allows him to transmit the electricity he generates through his body to shock anyone on contact. This, paired with his super speed and instantaneous reaction time, make him impossible to fight him, as shocking someone is shown to stun them in place, even though a tough foe was paralyzed from shock due to his attack and was in pain. Um, this opponent was not even human, but against a person with ordinary endurance, it can be lethal. He has the ability of what's called Thunderbolt. It's performed when Killua projects a bolt of lightning from his fingers, a mid-range attack. Unlike Lightning Palm, it doesn't require a physical contact to perform, rather simply pointing it at someone, then generating electricity to extend past his arm and hands to easily extend the electricity away from his fingertips. He normally jumps into the air and points them from above before launching the attack. His equipment is actually his yo-yos, which we talked about before, each of them weighing about 50 kilograms. He's reluctant to use his yo-yos in combat, um, thus using his raw physical abilities in order for his opponents to know a little about his combat abilities as possible. He has claws that apparently relies on several assassination arts passed down through his family. It includes adjusting his fingernails into claws, thus the claws are sharper than knives and can tear through a limb easily. Rhythm Echo, and it's an assassin art which creates an after image of the body through a various cadence of steps. There is total absence of noise during the movement and can change into an ability that allows Killua to disappear into the darkness, allowing the advanced version to the silent gates technique. Sorry. Then we have the snake strike, which is Killua's move his arms with incredible speeds and cut anything and everything that comes in contact with him. Now these are all the abilities that he has. Now let us talk about Misaka. So Misaka has sorry. She is an master. So she is an electric user, and this is a type of Esper, which is, if I remember correctly, Esper is mental ability to control anything. In particular, this particular one is electricity. Her own ability is known as the Railgun. It is a super electromagnetic cannon. She chooses the ability name herself, naming it after her most famous move. She is a third ranked level 5. She is the most powerful electro master with a excuse me, with a maximum electrical output of 1 billion volts. She's capable of generating and manipulating electricity as well as the phenomena of connecting electricity, including magnetism, sorry, Lawrence force, and more. She being the strongest electro master of all time, she has a high degree of power. She also has a high degree of precise control over her power. As such, she can utilize the applications of her ability that weaker electro masters could not be capable of with a high degree of versatility. Sorry, she has the ability. She uses her ability in many ways. She can discharge electricity. She can use magnetism to move objects made out of or containing metal in her surrounding areas, including large amounts of iron sand, which we'll talk about later. Easily hack electronic devices, networks, sense and emit electronic waves, utilizing them for personal radar, and even call down lightning and thunderclouds, as well as firing metal objects at supersonic speeds using the Lorentz force, the railgun that is the source of her ability's name, among other things. She has demonstrated enough skill and battle knowledge to fight head on with powerful beings in her universe. She has frequently been described as having the firepower on par with a cruiser. Now, the railgun itself is a signature technique that she has. She operates it in a manner similar to its namesake by forming a parallel current on both sides of her arms with electricity utilizing the Lorentz force. She can fire metal objects at 3 times the speed of sound. She primarily uses the arcade coins as her projectiles, sorry, for portability. And according to the system scan, her railgun has muzzle velocity of 1,030 milliseconds meters per second. Sorry, meters per second. Equivalent to about 2,307.2 miles per hour, a firing rate of 8 shots per minute, and a projection distribution of 18.9 millimeters. Has the railgun's primary limiting factor is air resistance and resulting friction. As a projection passes through the air at supersonic speeds, the friction can cause a loss of kinetic energy and generates heat building up to levels which cause most projectiles to melt. With her typical projectiles, the arcade coins are generally vaporized after traveling 50 meters. Larger projectiles usually have a longer maximum range and more destructive power. Um, When she uses her coins as a railgun, she usually fires them from her thumb, resting them on the side of her index finger and sometimes flipping them beforehand, and then launching them as it lands on her thumb. For a larger projectile, she normally just punches them. She has a wide variety of railgun attacks. Her electricity overall. She has the capability of generating and manipulating electricity. She can do so on a scale beyond any other such expert in the Academy City. Her maximum output has been known to be 1 billion volts, rivaling that of a thermal power station, though apparently not for a total amount of power produced in a day, and can easily meet power requirements on a level of a battleship diesel engine. Her body is immune to the effects of its own electricity as well as electrocution from external sources. Interesting. She can discharge the electricity from her body in order to attack and, incapacitate the target, both from direct contact and from a distance. This is something she uses called a lightning spear. Um, she's able to manipulate. She has magnetism. She can use her magnetism at a similar degree of power. She frequently utilizes it, sorry, to manipulate metallic materials in her surrounding area for an advantage with great versatility. If an object is comprised of metallic metal and contains such metallic parts within it, she can affect the object with her ability. At her power and control, she can manipulate a large number of objects at once and move objects of considerable size and weight. At the basic level, she can use her ability to move objects, relocate them, and place them in a way for an incoming attack or hazard. Throw them at a target as a projectile or hold them in place. She can gather multiple manipulated objects together for various purposes, and she's able to throw them at great speeds. If an enemy is using a metal tool or weapon, she can manipulate its movement to um, interfere with it and completely stop their attack, as well as magnetize it so that the nearby iron objects will attach to it and stop them from being able to use it as a whole. She also has the ability of iron sand, which is apparently often gathered in large amounts from her surrounding. She can utilize the iron sand in a variety of shapes, with the individual particles vibrating at high speeds, allowing them to cut through objects in a manner similar to a chainsaw. The variation of the iron sand are strong enough to penetrate and cut through concrete blocks, pavement, rubble, and metals. The small size of the iron sand means that it can be placed or mixed in discreetly and allows it to get into the gaps and wounds to cut targets from within. The nature of the iron sand constructs means that even if it's disrupted, they can be replenished and regenerated. With this, she has iron sand sword, she has an iron whip. All of these things can cut through her opponents with ease. Because of that, she can hack through and everything else. She also has sensory and biological applications. Um, because of this, she's able to see and follow electric and magnetic field lines with her eyes. She can consistently emit electromagnetic waves and can sense those released waves by emitting a faint microwaves in all directions and reading in the returning reflected waves. It's the same as radar overall. She is a powerhouse in her own right. Her other skills are, other than the rest, she's generally in good form from physical and mentally. Apparently, she's highly intelligent, possesses considerable calculatable abilities, being a high ranking level 5 and a student of the prestigious school. Was able to answer questions from the high school homework with ease. She has displayed notable knowledge of physics, scientific hacking, electronics, and overall. She is not, while not devoted to athleticism or physical combat, she is physically fit and has exhibited a great deal of physical self defense capabilities and experienced in back alley fights as well as a degree of fighting dirty. She's displayed considerable skill in swordsmanship and creating a sword made out of iron sand in combat, and she has the capability of accurately hitting precise targets with her lightning spears and her attacks. And apparently, she has what's called an anti-art attachment. It's modified version of a powered suit created for her own use. Possesses the most augmented and firepower used by the original version. Is attempted to recreate the original's black box and apparently hasn't been able to recreate it. She has been experienced. She has been experiencing nosebleeds since being began to use the anti-art attachment. Okay. All right, so this is a tough one because my first thought was Kilo was going to win this fight, but it's looking like it's going to come down to um, Misaka's full-on just abilities against Killua's physical strength. Now, there's a reason why I bring this up because it looks like Misaka in a close combat fight is going to lose against Killua most times. Is what I'm guessing at. Kilo, on the other hand, if he lets this battle go on longer than it should, he's actually going to lose this fight. But there's the potential. Now, here's the thing: she's resistant to electrical abilities overall, and he's resistant to electricity, but he's not immune to it like she is supposedly. So here's the weird thing that happens on this one. He could absorb her electricity and then use it against her, but that would not do anything because anything he absorbs, he would not actually be able to use against her because she'd just be able to, well, resist it and actually be immune to it overall. So the two of them would just go after each other like that. Now, the electricity alone is not going to kill him, but there are many other things that can be involved in this. So she has projectiles, things that could actually cause harm to him. So she normally uses arcade coins and potentially other metal objects in the area. So she could project those things towards him and actually cause significant damage to him. That being said, even if he gets damaged, if it doesn't automatically kill him, he's not going to be put down easily. He's withstand so much torture in his life that I can't imagine that that's going to be enough to put him down. He's going to be able to get close enough and actually kill her without having to use those electrical abilities. So I am not 100% confident. I would say I'm about 75% confident that Killua is going to win this fight, and it has to do with the fact that their electrical abilities will um, negate each other. Misaka has the projection, like the projectile ability of firing metal objects at him with ease. And that's her only electric ability that he is not able to 100% counter. But he's able to go fast enough to avoid it without a problem. That being said, um, he she can shoot fast enough that he could possibly not dodge it because he's only been able to be clocked in at 150 miles per hour, and she's been able to project stuff at 2,000 miles, so she could hit him. So, but she could fire it, but she herself is not fast. So I'm going to go with still the fact of even though she could cause damage to him, it's not going to be enough to put him down completely. And he's going to be able to go in for a close counter attack and eliminate her limbs and eliminate her completely with his physical abilities alone. So my prediction is going to be Killua is going to be the winner of this death battle. Let me know in the comments what you guys think or who you think is going to win this death battle, and let me know why. Also, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.